Hello.
Hey everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Haircut girl.
Haircut girl.
Oberon. Don't she look pretty?
the partner of Haircut Girl, and me, Banshee. Welcome.
Haircut girl.
Haircut Girl. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah, we were running late. Sorry about that. Got a little behind with the cat feeding, and the cats must be fed. All right. We do have a birthday reading tonight. We seem to have a million birthday readings at this time of year. So we'll get right to it. After the card for the collective. All right. So I got to get Kara and Victorious Moon on the list.
Hi, Victorious.
Or
Hi, Kara.
perhaps Mr. O can put them in.
Did you want me to do that?
Yeah, while I'm shuffling my cards.
Mm-hmm.
Kara first.
I know.
Making pizzas. What? Oh, Pizza Hut or Domino's? I'd go with Pizza Hut. Well, I don't know what to tell you there. I love pizza, though, but Detroit style.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what Libra said.
Oh, no. Oh, it felt so good, Libra. Yes, it did. I have to say. And I think she did a great job. She came back.
Victorious.
It was just such a weird experience, and I told her about it, how I got a call from her old number, and I didn't pick it up in time, but I saw it because I have it in I still didn't get it out of my contacts, and my phone contacts, and I called it back, and of course the number was disconnected, and so I was worried about her, especially since she wasn't there when I tried to make appointments. No appointments available for this person, and I was like, but she was there this week, so I was able to get my hair cut. Yay! But still, the ghost call was kind of creepy. She even thought so. I suppose it was just my ancestors reminding me to get my hair cut. Anyway.
Boundaries.
Boundary?
Plural.
Boundaries. Well, yes, there should be boundaries. I'm trying to get there. There it is, number 3. And boundaries are basically all about self-respect. Sewn into the parts of who you are, for they are not to be crossed. Self-love can be expressed in many different ways. Sometimes it needs to manifest in a spa day with girlfriends, getting up to exercise, or sleeping in later than usual. I'm all in on that latter thing there. Sleeping in later than usual. Well, at other times, it manifests in a need to set and enforce boundaries so that no one person completely drains you of your energy. No one is allowed or even needs to take all of you. No one has the right to demand all of your time, energy, or resources or any parts of who you are. It isn't selfish to want to keep some things for yourself, as doing so is a show of self-respect and an understanding that you cannot give what you don't have. Imagine trying to give more of your time when you don't have enough in the day to do what's already on your plate. Imagine spending more money when you're already in debt, or giving more of your energy to make someone else happy when you've been depressed for a very long time. You have pulled boundaries because you are giving too much of yourself away without recharging your batteries. You are encouraged to say no more often, or at the very least, not right now. know that this is for the good of everyone in your personal orbit, that you will have so much more to give once you are in a proper excuse me, place of balance. Additionally, make sure to follow through with any boundaries you've set, as other people will push your limits to see how much you're willing to bend to their desires. So stay committed to yourself and stand your ground. Wow, a lot of blah blah about just maintaining your boundaries, right? You know, and I think, but it's all good. What they said there was very true, all of it. I can't stress enough how you shouldn't allow people to take advantage of your time and energy. It's one thing to be a giving person, but it's another thing to allow people to bleed you dry. It really doesn't do anybody good, including the people that maybe you are trying to help. So set some boundaries and you know, and just remind people that, you know, you have a life too. Now, I understand there are some things in this world that are really boundary shattering in a way. You know, for example, you have a parent that you're taking care of with Alzheimer's disease or something really bad, and you know, it does take, caregiving is a real drain on you. But try very hard to get more help from other people to make sure you get enough breaks so you don't break.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know this oracle, so I don't.
Well, it's
think I should.
boundaries. You know about boundaries, setting boundaries.
I'm against it.
Anyway, that's what I have for the collective. So good luck with that. That's me. What I have for the collective. Okay.
All right.
All right. So let's move on. You've got the list updated. I assume you didn't. You did update the number. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was awfully. Oh, hi, Siama. When did you come in?
They're already added to the list
Oh.
because you told me to do that.
So there's 8 people. Got it. Not 7.
Okay, I just didn't do the last one.
Okay, let me re-add the list and let's get this birthday reading underway. Want to pick one of your decks, Mr. O?
Yeah, I have one here already. Thank you.
All right, Grima is not here. I assume they will come later. And all they're getting today is a birthday reading because they did say their birthday was coming.
And we agreed to do that.
We agreed to do it today. I think there's other birthday readings that are promised out that I have forgotten about. So if you are one of them, please remind me. I know, Kara, you have one coming up in May, so we'll be working on that with you. All right. Let's shuffle, Mr. O.
I know I'm doing some necessary
Maybe it'll be my
maintenance.
deck.
Okay, if you want to get going.
I will.
But you know, being the camera person here means I have to do certain maintenance
I
sometimes.
understand.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Hi, Ladybug.
You actually don't.
I do.
Hi, Ladybug. All right, so we're doing the birthday reading for Grima. Happy birthday.
Oops. Darn keyboard. I already have my deck out.
It's too late.
You
can have
little
your
sneak.
deck out, but your cards are not going to get up there. Only mine.
Okay.
All right.
We're not playing card wars here. Besides, if we start throwing tarot decks around, it's a lot of cards to clean up, right?
And your shuffle is required.
Okay.
More maintenance.
Hmm?
Just me. I have things to correct here. Sorry about that.
All right.
Card 1. Grima, the gift you received last year that you can use to make the most of in this next year. Strength.
Nice.
Upright.
Well, Grima, I think you've realized the value, or maybe, you know, what you should carry away from last year is the value of patience. waiting for the right time to do something, not pushing things before things are ready. When strength is upright, it usually indicates that no force is necessary to get what you want. And, all good things happen in their own time and way.
The irony of the strength card, the woman with the lion, in some pictures she's either holding his mouth shut or holding it open. But the irony is that it's really about a softer approach to power. So in other words, it's not about being overly assertive or aggressive. It's sort of saying, like, what you learned last year is that what Banshee said, the patient, maybe more softer projection of yourself or your goals.
So the gift of the present moment, the here and now. The Queen of Pentacles, upright.
In this deck, it's called the Queen of Sacred Circles. And she's sort of like an avatar of the Empress in a way, or maybe more broadly, Mother Nature. The Queen, this is the gift of the present moment?
Yes.
Yes. Is maybe that realization that you need to show the world the care you feel for it, but also for yourself. So it is an idea towards self-care, but it's also about what you can do to project your trademark or your signature to the world you care for, creating beautiful works or advancing beautiful notions, things like that.
It's a powerhouse card in a way, to get this queen. She's in a good place financially. She's in a good, stable place physically, and she's got it together. And you're in a good position also to be caring and kind to others right now that may need a hand. Not necessarily a handout, but something like a shoulder to cry on, or just to spend time with them. They might be going through a difficult period. So I think here's a positive card. The gift of the present moment may be what you can give to yourself and give to others at this time. Be sure to take care of yourself. We talked about setting boundaries with the first card we pulled today, Garima, for the collective. And it's not so much about setting boundaries, but just making sure that you are taking care of yourself and putting yourself above and before the needs of others.
All right, card 3 is the gift that will help you work on, the gift from your connections with others in this next year.
Lay down. Oh, ooh.
It's the Ace of Cups reversed.
Well, I know you ask a lot of questions, related to where relationships are heading with others. And I have to say, you're going to have something that's not going to work out the way you had hoped this year. I'm not saying that this is going to be the focus for the whole year, but there will be, some relationship that may have problems getting off the ground. Sometime during the year. Or it could, so it could be, I don't know. It could be sooner, it could be later. There's no good timing for this. Just know that it's going to happen sometime in this solar year.
Well, there's a number of potential ideas behind a reversed Ace of Cups.
That's true.
It could mean that, some of the things that you are hoping to interact with others will not bear the fruit you want, or will have some ups and downs or delays with them. It could be that a particular new relationship, or even a relationship with something you care about that's not necessarily a person, will actually falter a little bit and maybe have trouble kind of righting itself. This is not a projection for the whole year. This may seem to just be going forward right now for maybe the next, I don't know, it's hard to say, but maybe another month or two. So it's really not setting the tone for the whole year, but it is saying that maybe in terms of your connections with others, be sure that emotionally speaking, you're really upfront with them as much as you can be in the situation, and that you also have an interest in what their interests are, and that you can find common ground with them in various ways.
Don't mind me grooming Sunny, but so much hair has been flying around my computer. It suddenly got really warm here, and the cats are shedding.
Okay.
All right, so the
Card
next
4.
number 4 is the gift that will help you work on, achieve, or move forward on your dreams and goals in the year ahead.
And I like this. It's the upright 9 of staves or 9 of wands. And I think this is saying the gift of mentally planning the course of action, the course of contingency plans or backup plans, being prepared or being knowledgeable of what various obstacles or goals are that you want, so that you can figure out how to prepare yourself or position yourself for those.
I don't know, I keep going back to that ace for some reason. It's haunting me. I just think that I've left something incomplete there, but I'm going to cover that when we recap. But at any rate, so what is that again?
It's the 9 of wands.
Yes. I like that too here. Because I think here, this is a year where you might be better prepared now to focus on what you really desire to manifest. Whether it is relationship-wise, whether it is business, work, career, a place to live, whatever you want to focus your attention on, do so. You're better prepared to focus this year. You're better, maybe it's because of that Queen of Pentacles, energy going forward. And I think, that this will be a year where you could accomplish much, but it gets accomplished through being prepared and preparing. So, determine what it is you want to go after, come up with a plan and follow it through.
Card 5, the gift from your spirit guides or ancestors, or either.
Oh, that's awesome.
Your ancestors really want you to know you are capable of great change, great fundamental change. In some terms, it may be saying literally letting an old self you are die to emerge phoenix-like into a new life. But there are any number of possibilities. Your ancestors, your spirit guides are telling you, don't be afraid of change, embrace change. Changing yourself may be the key to finding your dreams or the successes you're looking for in the various areas of your life.
Well, that's their message for sure, is that, be willing to change, be willing to transform yourself, in order to succeed at what you want to succeed at. You have to be willing to make some changes and modifications, especially, your ancestors, if they're looking at you and thinking, maybe that you've been feeling things haven't been working out. But if you're doing the things the same old way, you need to let go of some old mindsets or patterns of behavior and change it up in order to succeed. And, this is a card of rebirth. And I think, too, they feel there's a powerful impetus for you to undergo a transformation and a rebirth in this year ahead.
So finally, our last card, the 6th card, is the gift that the year ultimately will give to you. What lessons have you learned, and what progress will you have achieved by the year's end? Drum roll. And it's the reversed 6 of Cups. So
okay. I think it's a lesson.
Yeah.
But go on.
Well, a lot of times the 6 of Cups is maybe saying things of the past may become important again. This could be saying really, one of the things could be that...
Oh, I thought it was reversed.
It is reversed.
Okay.
I'll let you go.
Well, I think that... Okay, I'm sorry.
Please.
When you were saying it, I thought you were saying it upright. I think this is saying, Garima, that, if you're holding on to these past mindsets or behavior patterns, things that have been locked into you that your ancestors, for example, feel you need to change here in order to succeed. It will be a lesson you will learn this year. So if things don't go your way, you really need to examine what it is you need to release and let go of and change in order to achieve what you desire.
I like that. I think that the lesson ultimately is, about change. When we think of the cups, we think of water, and water constantly changes form. It changes to ice, it levels off, it doesn't stay at one particular level, and it has great strength. The lesson is to realize that sometimes when things don't even happen exactly the way we want, there still may be a gift there. There still may be an insight that we can take in, especially when we are dealing with the status quo of our human emotions.
So just to recap, it's not a really totally bad year here. It's not a bad year at all. I think basically, this last year has taught you the value of patience and not pushing things before things are ready. And you are, the present moment is telling you you need to take care of yourself and others as you can, and to make sure that, and also that really it seems like you're in a pretty powerful position right now, or stable position as far as finances and things in your life goes. Things seem comfortable. That Ace of Cups is what I wanted to get to really badly, and I might let Mr. O recap the rest, but the Ace of Cups to me, I think here it may be that you're experiencing issues in this year figuring out how to get a relationship or love off the ground in your life. I'm not, I'm thinking more along those lines now rather than a failure. Now, this being said, I'm not going to rule out that there may be something that goes south with a relationship you start and you were hoping would, go smoothly. So learn from this if it does not. Learn from it if it does not. Hi, Jennifer. I'll get you on the list.
So with the rest of the cards, the Nine of Wands maybe is that lesson of your connections to others, encouraging others to stand up for themselves, but also encouraging yourself too, or letting that inner flow happen. And standing up for yourself is also about being prepared too, noting what the level of competition or obstacles are that you have to be ready for. And with your ancestors, maybe you'll be having dreams about this even, because this is a very profound message that they want you to be open to the idea that you can change and you should be able to change, especially if there are, really dramatic situations that say this needs to change. And I'm not necessarily talking about your personal life, but maybe other things going on in the world that may call upon each of us to be ready to accept change. So finally, the overall lesson from what I can see maybe is balancing emotions, understanding that everything that happened to you, whether good or bad, had an impact of some sort, had a lesson that you need to think about, and that's quite a lot to do over the course of your life, but that's what you got.
Yeah, allow, past, don't dwell on, past losses or difficulties or troubles. Move forward from that, and also really figure out what it is that you need to let go of in order to change and rebirth yourself. What habits or behaviors or things that just aren't working the same for you anymore. Sometimes we get into a state of denial about that, but we have to really learn to confront it and decide, maybe I need to change something. That's all what we have for you.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Garima. I wish you a great year ahead. Good luck.
All right.
All right. So, Garima, we'll probably catch that later. And we're going to move on to Libra.
Hi, Libra. And I think Libra wants a general.
Sunny doesn't seem to be shedding as much as Shadow, I noticed.
Well, she is a longer-haired one.
Oh, it will come.
Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate that.
Shadow's got the most hair. No problem. All right.
Hey, Libra. Hey, Kara.
Make a little hairball with this. I got to watch these hairballs, too. Sunny will eat them if I leave them around.
So Lenormand is...
my deck. And what is the question?
It's a general reading.
General reading for Libra. Okay. Let's use the little happy gnomes.
Oh, I asked for the Lenormand.
Oh.
Do you need me to get up and get it?
No, I need you to switch me off.
Okay.
Let me get up.
We are sorry. The screen is dark.
Okay. We're back.
And we're back.
All right. I forgot the Lenormand. But anyway, we're going to use the tiles today.
Tiles are fine. And I brought my Ghost Tarot today. I noticed that Nicole had a question about possibly spiritual presences, so I can use it for that maybe.
All right. Let's see what we've got. General reading. Page of Cups upright. That's good. The Hangman reversed. Eight of Pentacles upright.
And in Lenormand, there's the Star and the Garden, which are pretty nice to have.
Well, if Earth Day hadn't passed us by, I would say you're going to help out at an Earth Day event, something collaborative. But I think here, the Page of Cups is saying some good news is coming your way, or some news that will make you happy, or, you're going to, it might just be, too, that this is about your intuition, that maybe you get ahead of the curve, ahead of the game here, because you just instinctively know something's going to happen before it happens. So
I'm thinking it's coming in a dream. Just as she was saying intuition, I was thinking the message is a dream. Maybe.
Is it because of the star, too?
Possibly.
Okay.
But pay attention to your dreams, Libra. So I like that. I feel like,
Which we know you do.
Yeah, you do. That's right.
Yeah.
The other thing about the Page of Cups for me, too, is maybe there's just a sense a little bit of maybe you're visualizing things that you want that, bring happiness. I get the feeling like you're hoping that maybe there can be some sort of small trip or vacation or situation where you can get away to enjoy yourself, go to, a town you don't go to, or go to a place you don't go to normally. So I think that could be in the cards too.
Well, sometimes when I do these readings, I see either a story where they fit together, or I will keep a story where it fits together, or they talk about separate things. And the dreaming aside, because I still think that could be important, I might also say here that with that page, this could be some good news. You get the go-ahead now, and so now you're ready to stop ruminating about something, stop waiting for something maybe to happen or develop. You're ready to get to work on something now. It just seems like somehow this all fits together, and I'm just grabbing hair as it flies. It all fits together, and
I'm wondering if there's some sort of compromise you might have made in this situation of getting to work. Maybe the Hangman reverse is sort of saying setting aside something that you didn't totally agree with, but for a greater good. I just get a little feeling there.
I know you were speaking about going back to work. Did you ever apply for anything? Because, it almost seems like there could be a back to work message here. Just with the Hanged Man being reversed, he's no longer just suspended in between things. They're going back to work.
And we look at the garden and the star.
Yeah.
Those are kind of nice prospects, but the star could be for a lot of other things in your life too.
But I think whatever the news is, or this intuition or this dream is, it's going to bring you hope, and it's going to make you feel more like getting back
Things
out.
are working out.
I also feel this thing about getting back out in the world again, because you have the garden, which is a very social kind of thing, and then you have the Hanged Man reversed, which is like, he pulls himself away and hangs from that tree to gain wisdom or knowledge. But when he comes off that tree, he's ready to roll again. He's ready to party or get back to work.
Right. Sometimes
whatever
the
case
Hanged
may
Man
be.
has some hermit aspects where he sort of withdraws.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, and with the star in the garden, I think here that optimism is going to be running really high. Maybe it's going to just make you want to be more social and
You're
around
welcome.
people more. I think also just being spring and heading into summer, that we start to become a little bit more social or active. And that's kind of what I see going on here. So I think, at least this next week in particular is going to be pretty active for you. And maybe the next couple, through the end of April. I guess that is next week, isn't it?
Nice.
So,
And you're welcome, so enjoy.
what was that?
I said you're welcome, so enjoy.
You're welcome. Okay.
And Cherry Blossom would also like a general reading.
Okay.
I'm going to use my Legend Arthurian Tarot. The Legend of King Arthur and Merlin and all the gang. Mr. O had a dental emergency this morning.
I was stuck. I thought I'd have the day to myself. No, the morning
Still
to myself.
benefited though.
But then he calls me like literally around the time he was supposed to start work
I was there at work.
and said, I have to run to the dentist. Something happened.
My bridge fell out. I was eating a cookie at work and I think it had been loose for a couple of days. I might have mentioned it to you, but I don't remember.
So at any rate, he ended up
They
at home.
slapped it back up in there in no time. But I decided to take the rest of the day off anyway.
He's so bad.
So I took her to breakfast.
He's so good for that.
All right, Cherry Blossom, here we go. And your first card is the reversed Nine of Swords.
Oh, that's good.
It's always good when it's reversed, that one. Hi, baby. Our next card is the upright Seven of Cups. I kind of like that one, that image. And then we complete with the reversed Six of Cups, which, interestingly enough, we had for Libra's reading just a few minutes ago.
How am I
Or was that
going-
Garima's? I don't remember. Was it Garima's? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Garima's.
Whoops, the
Yeah.
birthday reading.
Here you go.
Yeah, there was no pain, of course, and then just waiting an hour for the glue or whatever to reset my bridge and then go eat. So I had a Mexican omelet at our favorite regular restaurant.
Honey, I still see some loose hair, but I did get a bit off of you.
All right, so Cherry Blossom.
Well, it's an interesting start here, actually, the first two cards. What is the last one again? I want to remember.
It's the reverse Six of Cups.
That's right. Okay. I think I'm getting something. I think here with the first card, which was again the
Nine of Swords.
and it's reversed.
Right.
And what I wanted to say, gosh, my brain today has been really kind of foggy. But I want to say that the Nine of Swords reverse seems to indicate to me that you can kind of try to dial it down now. You might be anxious about something, or you will be, something making you nervous. It seems as though, your troubles or whatever you're feeling nervous and anxious about, there's no need. There's really no need. So if you're stressing something right now, or something comes in the week ahead that suddenly you're feeling like stress or pressure from, really kind of examine the situation. Because I feel here with this reversed, it's saying these are things that you will be able to manage. This is a lot less stressful than maybe the energy that you're putting into that, that stress.
Yeah, I think that Nine of Swords reversed is like you are passing through anxiety, or you're relieving yourself of anxiety. It could be that you're realizing certain things that had recently been giving you anxiety, making you, ponder in the night, are seeming to alleviate. But I'm also wondering if it's connected to the next card, the Seven of Cups, because maybe it's saying you needed to get to a point of being able to really make a decision. And maybe there was anxiety because there were really good options, but they had their own flavors and characters, and you were stressing maybe over the choice or what those outcomes could be. Maybe you had to think about that. But it feels to me, like I said, you've moved past that, and that maybe you're actually finding a certain glory in those choices. The critter on the card is looking into the sunlight, the beams of sunlight that could be those Seven of Cups, and it just sort of feels glorifying, like they like this ability to think about these choices or to have them.
I think the two cards go together here, that maybe you have been stressing some choice you have to make. And there might be a number of options that, are going to be thrown at you because the Seven of Cups is upright. And so sometimes that card can indicate getting lost in all of the things you have to think about, which is the right way for you. And I feel here, just dial down the sense of urgency or the sense of stress. Take your time, as much as you can. I mean, assuming there's no ironclad deadline, take your time and determine what is really right for you. Examine all of these things realistically, and not let yourself get carried away or stressed out by any of the options. Just look at them and determine, because out of all the options there's something that is right for you to do, to move. Whether it's an action, whether it's a decision you have to make, whatever the case may be, the right option is there. You just have to think about it without the pressure or feeling stressed about it. I don't want to say it that way.
I wonder if ultimately this is resolved because maybe something comes back into the picture. Maybe that was what the decision was about, letting something happen again or something return. To me, that's the energy I get from the Six of Cups, but there's definitely a flow there. Like maybe this is definitely an emotional matter, of course, with the Seven of Cups. Maybe all of this happens because you receive a clarification that brings some incredible knowledge. I've jumped ahead to the Lenormand, but that's what I feel is like some of this was anxiety that becomes relieved because of information that really helps you with choices, especially important ones that maybe really are strong emotionally from some perspective.
I think that maybe this all fits together really tidily, because that Six of Cups reversed may be indicating that somebody's maybe coming back into your life that you didn't maybe leave on good terms with. Whether this is a relationship or whether this is a family member or an old friend, and you've got choices and decisions to make as to how you want to handle this. And don't be so stressed out by this, figure out, because you can always say no, number one. But I think when I look at the Lenormand in the book, I think you're going to get a communication about this. Somebody's going to want to come back, or somebody's going to ask if they can talk to you again, get together and talk, whatever the case may be. And of course you would find out, you're going to find out more by, either from the letter or from this eventual meeting. But it's up to you to make the choice if you want to open that door again. So keep that in mind. Do you want to open the door to that? Or is this something that is just too stressful and water under the bridge, and you'd rather let bygones be bygones and let it go? So it's going to be up to you how you want to handle that.
Hi, Garima. And I don't know if you remember.
No, Garima, yeah.
But we were going to do your birthday reading. We thought it was today, so we did it today. So we actually did that right at the beginning of the show, right after the card for the collective.
Yeah.
So you will need to rewind to see that. And happy birthday. And that's going to be our reading for you today.
Yeah, we only do one reading when we do the birthday reading, so...
So we hope you enjoy it. It was an okay reading.
It was an interesting reading. You've got some challenges, but you've got some
Definitely.
good stuff. It's up to you what you make of the year ahead. So, and that reading's good from this birthday to your next one. All right.
All right, so that was my deck, right?
Yeah.
And now we are going to be on Nicole. Oh, Nicole asked about the spirit thing, though. Do you want to use my Ghost Tarot for that? You shuffle it? I'll get to their question.
Hey, you're welcome, Cherry.
Is there any type of spirit attached to me? What do they want me to know? Or how can I get rid of them? I guess if you want to use another
You can
deck,
use your deck. It's fine. So is it any type of spirit attached to them?
that's what it says.
And what do they want Nicole to know?
What do they want to know?
Okay, we can do that.
How can I get rid of them?
Oh, well, that's a lot.
That's a couple questions, but they may be tied in together,
Let's see what the three cards say. Let's see what they
Yes.
say. So, Garima, right after, if you're still here,
You're welcome, Sharon.
right after we did the card for the collective, we did your birthday reading, so you'll be able to wind back and find that. We always do them at the beginning of the show. All right.
It's probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes that we got started with that.
All right, I'm going to put that one.
All right, Nicole. And of course, if we don't have a clear answer, we'll do a yes or no on that basic idea there.
If it's attached.
So the first card is the Knight of Wands, and they are upright. And that's the Ghost Tarot, by the way. Our next card is also upright. It's the Chariot, a ghostly chariot. And then the final card is the reversed Ace of Cups.
Well, you must be, if you want to get rid of it, you must be feeling some negative vibes from this, but is that the reversed Ace of Cups?
Yes, it is.
Wow. That's really interesting considering the nice cards I have here. But anyway.
Garden. And the Heart.
So, I don't feel a lot of malevolent energy here per se. Has anybody recently passed on though, Nicole? Is this somebody, you feel maybe it was recently passed on? Whether it's a family member or a friend or something like that. I almost feel like there is some kind of attachment here, but I almost feel like it's a bond of some sort, like they're bonded to you in some way, like through blood or a relationship of some sort.
Now, this is outside of that card there,
Okay.
Nicole.
Okay,
It's
Nicole.
a sense of something I got. And I was wondering, and this may be hard or painful memory. Okay, you said no. Okay. Did you lose a sibling or a childhood friend? And I mean like literally when you were children. Did somebody pass away there? maybe a child you knew that had a bad disease or outcome of some sort. I do get the feeling like maybe there's some sort of child or infantish type of entity. I don't know why I feel that way, but it just sort of strikes me as being more purely innocent for some reason. I'm not necessarily getting that from that Knight of Wands.
Yeah. I would
Okay,
say
and
that.
you say no to that too.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So it may not be something that you knew, whatever this is, whether we're on the handle here or not.
are you going to read any of the cards? Or,
Okay, well,
because I was going to get.
so the Knight of Wands does talk about movement towards a sense of maybe growth or an interest in a friendship or a relationship. So my implication would be that there could be a spirit that does seem to be attracted to you for some reason. There is some energy it likes in you, maybe, or there's some reason it's there. You know, knights are not necessarily messengers, so I don't think it's here to give you a message, but I feel like it is bound to you, like Banshee says.
I don't know. I'm feeling a family connection, a heart connection, because we have that heart in the Lenormand in the garden. And to me, the heart in the garden, sometimes the garden can indicate a cemetery. Okay, it can. But it depends what it's with. But for some reason, I just got this feeling that it's a loved one in the cemetery. And so this may not be from this generation. You know, this might be a great-grandparent or a grandparent, something like that. Somebody who maybe, you know, even passed before you were born. But they're attached to you in some way. They came back for some reason. And I feel this energy is very transitory right now for some reason, because I don't know if you've been feeling this attachment for a while, but I almost think they're going to move on. The Chariot seems to indicate that to me, that you may not have to do anything to remove this, but they may move on. And I get the feeling they're here because of a couple of different reasons. They may have had issues. They may have had issues in their life where, you know, the family may have ostracized them in some way, or they were separated from, you know, most some in the family, and so they're grabbing to reconnect with family before they move on. And maybe it's because they still feel, you know, slighted by what happened to them. And so, you know, this may not totally be a happy attachment. Maybe that's why you're feeling some grief here and you want to let it go. All I can say is, I don't know, do you have any good techniques for letting a spirit?
I do, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not exactly sure I feel the same as Banshee about the Chariot. I sort of feel that the Chariot's presence indicates part of that thing, and it's another horse, that they're being drawn to you or they're coming towards you. Yes, it could be that they're just coming temporarily to give you some information or make you feel a certain thing. I think this idea of the reversed Ace of Cups is maybe about their sadness, about maybe a situation that they feel maybe they're feeding off of you, not like a vampire, but they're resonating to you because maybe they feel some of the problems in their relationships may mirror some of the sadness that you've encountered. You know, there's the situation with Keith. I think that's the name. I don't remember. But so, you know, they're maybe drawn to the hardships that you've been internalizing or feeling about. And that's what makes me feel like, whether they're related from your past or not, they're just feeding off of that emotion you feel. So I don't know that they're harmful, but I think...
But they are upsetting, and I think that's also why the Ace of Cups is reversed here, you know, because it's affecting you emotionally.
I think that they're just a kind of entity that is drawn to hard emotions, so that may be why they're here. They may not have anything particularly relevant to tell you, but here's what I believe about, you know, unwanted entities, I just sort of feel it's as basic as salt and water. Salt and water, maybe, you just get a bowl of water and you sprinkle salt in it and affirm that this thing, in your mind at least, is dispelling that energy. That's what salt and water does. It will dispel that energy. If you feel you need something a little harder, you could also do this. Get a hold of some fresh garlic cloves, like little cloves that you could get at a market or somewhere, and maybe just put a little cut into them and add them to the water. Either throw them in there or squeeze them in there. But garlic and salt are really knockouts to spirits, good or bad. Obviously vampires, but we don't think it's that.
No.
But I would say, and then if you're in an apartment or in your house or wherever you're at, try to do a circle around that property. If you have to do it on the inside, try to start where you think the east is and go all the way around in a circle of some sort. If you can't do it exactly, it's okay. Spirit understands your intentions, Nicole.
Right.
They know what you're trying to do, and they will assist you in that way.
Wow, so good. I'm glad he was able to do that. I don't think it may last for long, but then again, I would say this. If they are, if they aren't really family and they just came, as Mr. O said, because they felt this affinity energy-wise with you, they may wander off. I think it's temporary. And of course, if you follow through with intent to just clear yourself and the energy around your environment, with the salt water and garlic, I think here that you will hasten their departure.
But I do think, like Banshee says, that maybe they may not be around a very long time. I would do that for sure, though, if you feel like there's some activity happening that you don't like or makes you uncomfortable, or otherwise wait and see if it just sort of slows down and goes away.
Yeah. A lot of these things, sympathetic magic is really, it seems so simplistic and like, oh, that can't work, but hey, it is a form of prayer. It is a form of, of praying for something. And so you're praying for this spirit to be on its way to peacefully leave, and this will do it. This will release it. So good luck with that.
Thanks for the update on your granddaughter, Victorious. That's good news. Hopefully they'll return when it's right.
Right. And that's the one that's doing the sports stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Good
hopefully
luck.
she'll, make a full recovery and get back to it. We sure will.
All right, so that was Nicole. Thank you, Nicole.
We are on Airy.
Airy. All right, Airy.
It's Airy the Aries. Come on now. Hey, you're welcome, Nicole.
Oh, this is the one about working at the pizza shop.
Okay, so you want to know if you'd be okay working, if it would
be a good job for you.
A good job for you, a good fit for you. Okay, I like that. And
you're welcome, Nicole. Good luck with that.
Is it my deck?
Yes, it is.
And let's use this one.
And sometimes spirits just need to be told too. Sometimes some spirits don't need the heavy duty stuff. Sometimes if you have that direct feeling like there's something here, you just feel it, you're creeping out on it, Nicole, you can just look towards where you think it is and say, would you please just leave? And try to do that with a tone of authority. They listen to that.
Yeah,
now, if they're really gung-ho on staying, then of course maybe that won't work out. But sometimes just being definitive with them.
And it's funny, I used to think that was kind of hokey, but it's not. It absolutely is not. I have found myself even telling a spirit to leave, that they should go back to someplace else, that they didn't belong here. I'm not going to get specific about it because I had a feeling I knew who was visiting me. So, and it worked. It really worked. So you can be... But you got to believe it. You've got to believe you have the power. You are here in the physical, and you have power over those entities that, are not. more power than we realize. Okay, let's see if throwing pizza pies in the air.
If you get the 10 of Pentacles, oh wait, you don't have that deck.
No, it's funny. Yeah, if I had that deck. Pizza!
You're definitely...
Now you've jinxed it. It probably will come up anyway. But that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's actually a good card.
Well, the Hanging Man is reversed.
I love that one.
The King of Wands is reversed. Whoa. Maybe not. Maybe not pizza for you.
Maybe not, because I'm looking at the Hangman. I'm like, you don't know if you're dropping them or you're throwing up in the air. Or what's going on?
The devil is up here in the house,
devil,
so
okay. Well,
that's kind of like, oh, ouch.
But once again, it's the Garden, only this time in that position, and the Star in the opposite position. So kind of interesting because I just pulled them out randomly, but there they are.
Well, it's interesting. I don't see a lot of positivity here for this thing. I forgot. Okay, the Hanging Man was
reverse.
First. Yeah. The Hanging Man being first isn't necessarily bad, but, it just seems like you will have to make some sacrifices to make this work. And I'm not exactly sure what that would be. Whether it would be just something to do with the hours you would work or the type of work you'd be doing there, or would it be sacrificing pay, or would it be sacrificing more of yourself? In other words, working harder.
My glimmer that I feel is that you would maybe feel like you don't fit in. There might be a culture there that, that kind of like a gang there, and it'll be hard for you to break into that. But that may not be the best, the only part about it. I mean, we don't go to work necessarily to just have fun people to hang around with. But, being able to get along with people is important. So you may struggle with feeling like you belong there.
So
the King of Wands.
King of Wands indicates to me that it just almost seems like it's not right for you. You won't have good feelings about the work, or maybe the pace of the work, or something like that. It just seems like you won't be up for this challenge. You might feel, I don't know, you just might feel almost, well, I don't want to say.
The reason that you may not feel you're fitting in there is because you might feel like you don't get to shine there the way you want to. Like, this sort of feels like...
Okay, because I was going to say a feeling of invisibility.
Yeah, it sort of feels like you can be... use your personality more, but somehow you're not able to there. Maybe it's because they just have you in the back somewhere working by yourself, something like that. You don't have any way to shine the way you want to, whether it's about work with other coworkers or with the customers or whatever.
I think you'll be working with other coworkers, and that could be another element of this card here in a way that, it just seems like there's a lot of pressure. Okay. And people might be stressed with each other. So, it may be more high pressure for you than you might want. And I mean, I know the food, and you're familiar clearly with the food industry, so you understand some of that pressure. But then again, what you're looking for here, it just might be too much of that.
The final card is the devil.
Go ahead, I'll let you go.
Well, the devil really talks about things that feel oppressive or limiting in some respects, or the factors of, possible codependence there. And so in this situation, you may feel like really you are working harder than you want to be, or you will feel like you have limitations there. That could be limitations in any sort of advancement, or limitations in just getting regular promotions or raises, or something just sort of feels like it's just keeping you there without anything good happening in return.
Yeah, limitations, oppression. I really like that because the devil makes you feel as though you're stuck or you're stifled. You can't seem to release yourself. What?
Tortured.
I don't know about tortured in a pizza place, but it does seem as though it would be oppressive for you. And I think here you might, maybe because of what you have to give up. Remember, I spoke of sacrifice or having to give something up. That's it. And it just may feel like too difficult an environment for you. Looking at the star in the garden, considering the negativity of the cards that came up in the tarot, I would say that it's saying, there's more hope for you somewhere else out there. The garden. In the garden of possibilities. Maybe Olive Garden. No, I'm just kidding.
Even putting it into the context of pizza, there's more than just, Pizza Hut and the other place you mentioned. There's, Domino's. There's other pizza places. So maybe it's just the culture around those ones. So just if you are interviewing, if you get an interview, try to, see what it feels like there. Ask questions about how people get along with each other, things like that. Because I think that is what will be important, is the overall ambience and feel like you are part of that workplace area. You want that.
Did you want to tackle the star in the garden? Or?
I agree with Banshee mostly.
Okay.
I feel like this is saying that there's hope and destiny somewhere out there. It just may not be here.
Yeah. So
and that's a good sign that, maybe it's not a pizza shop. Maybe
says your destiny lies elsewhere.
Maybe it's, a different kind of food service. Maybe it's submarine sandwiches. I don't know.
Good luck with that.
Hungry Howie's. Subway.
All right.
You've mentioned Subway, I think.
Anyway.
Alrighty. So, good luck with that, Ari.
There it is.
All right, thank you.
And
Kara's up.
Kara is up. Hi, Kara.
And we'll get to yours in a little bit, Jennifer. Thank you for putting it there. So, does Freya have anything for Kara? I'm going to use the Midnight Boulevard.
Oh, I like the Hermit card in this deck. All right.
Show me.
Huh?
I said show me.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the bottom here. It's just a lantern, a hand in the lantern. But look at the lantern.
That.
There's like steps in the lantern, a path.
Nice, yes.
A path towards the light. I like that. Well, I can't wait to get that horse deck. It's coming out soon.
And my Shadow Work Tarot is slowly coming across from the west side of the States.
And something that I ordered for my birthday has not arrived. I'm very upset. But at any rate, it should be coming in a week.
What does Freya have for you indeed? How's about that? The skull of your enemies. No, it's the Ace of Pentacles.
The Ace of Pentacles, upright?
It's upright.
Okay.
So, even in the worst of times, nature is eternal. Nature just grows. Freya wants you to understand that. When you look at this picture, there's a barely buried skeleton in the ground, but flowers are growing through the chest. It's an idea, maybe in its own way, of that idea of renewal. Something is going to begin for you that offers growth out of something that maybe you thought was not able to grow.
Are you still exercising, Kara? I know you were talking about it. This is the beginning of something growthful, whether it's an exercise routine, whether it's a new approach to taking care of your body, whether this is a new approach to taking care of your house and home. I kind of feel, because this is Freya, that there's some of this here. There's also the idea too of starting a project or goal that will grow into something bigger. She wants you to plant the seeds for something, and maybe you've already started to, and she's acknowledging that, by planting the seeds, by finding different exercise programs that you can follow and do, things of that nature. It's all good. It doesn't necessarily have to be mystical, magical. She also wants you at this time of year to truly connect deeply with the growing earth. Seeds have been planted. They are now starting to blossom and bloom. The trees around me, I took a picture when I was outside today. I just didn't post it, of some of the trees that are blossoming and blooming. So, take note of what's going on, the growth cycle in nature right now, and let it inspire you to grow, something lasting in your life.
Pentacles are about a lot of things, but they're also about security and feeling protected. And I think that maybe Freya would also say this spring, maybe this weekend even, or by Beltane, go out around your property and invoke a sense of protection. Cast your own wards, to the directions. Circle your property and ask for protection, and for it to honor all the growth that you hope to work in Freya and Odin's names.
So why is this, everything we said, important?
All right, because it's the Knight of Wands. Because you're ready to
she wants you to
charge
remain
through
active.
the flames.
She wants you to activate something, those seeds you plant, you've got to make them sprout and grow. You've got to, actively nurture them or bring growth. And I think she wants you moving. So, it wouldn't surprise me if this isn't about a physical routine of some sort, or just moving forward on, a project or goal that's really important to you right now.
Well, I'm drawn by the fact that the Knight of Wands is like literally moving through the flames or moving past the flames of something that's very fiery there. And I'm thinking,
are you sure he didn't light those flames?
And I'm thinking it's important because you gotta burn like nobody's business. Like this is like you need to set a fire here and get moving. It's important because fires burn out quick. They can cleanse property, but they can also destroy things. The choice is yours, Kara.
Can I see that card?
Yes, you can.
Right. Well, he's on a horse. I was going to say he's burning rubber, but and I could still use that metaphor technically because that's sort of what I feel here. Is like, as he moves, he's setting things on fire. And that's the point. You need to move with enthusiasm, motivation, and focus on whatever it is, that you want to accomplish.
Right. I mean, the basic idea is maybe good energy and good speed, that this is about your bravery and confidence in achieving that goal there that Freya wants, this getting back to whatever projects or plans you need to.
Well, they don't want you tossing pizza, Ari.
Yeah.
I can tell you that, at least by the looks of it, at least right now, anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Victorious. Aw.
Oh.
I'm sorry for Kitty.
Well, we will look at that in a moment. So, where are things headed?
It's the Wheel of Fortune. Where things are headed really is mostly some things that you can't necessarily expect or predict. Maybe Odin and Freya just want to sort of keep you guessing, but it's all good. There's no bad consequences necessarily here unless they are meant to possibly teach you some things. It's really saying there's some good luck coming to you. There's some right timed things that maybe you might have temporarily forgotten about or you don't have your attention on right now, but all of a sudden something clicks over into place and it's like, oh yeah, that.
Well, sometimes the wheel is about a surprise and a twist of fate. Mr. O has often talked about it being about cycles as well. And so, when I look at things here, I'm thinking, especially if this is some physical thing that you're doing, Kara, and you're trying to set up and establish a routine for yourself. You've got the seed planted. You need to keep moving on it. You need to keep working out if that's what it's about. And, you know, in time, you're going to see some amazing results. I think here that we forget sometimes that the Wheel of Fortune, similar to the Judgment card, is about karma. You know, the karma, what you put out, what you sow, you reap. What you put out is bound to come back to you. And so if you're putting out good energy and you're trying to make positive changes for yourself in whatever you're doing, whether it's that or something else, Kara, you will get a reward. And it may come as a surprise when it's happened, because you'll say to yourself, wow, I can't believe what?
It's Zoltan's, isn't it? Doesn't it look like that Zoltan's thing? I mean,
It does, but what's in there? That's not Zoltan.
It's like a bunch of skulls or something.
I know, that's kind of creepy. Well, at any rate,
I love this.
He made me lose my thought completely on that. And so I just wanted to say that, you know, you will get the result. You'll be surprising yourself at how well what you've accomplished, you know, because you stuck to it. You moved it forward. You didn't just let those seeds sit there. There. So now let's see what the Lenormand has to say. Look at that. Your seeds are going to grow into, Mr. O?
A tree that you plant by the light of the moon. Well, maybe about that. I don't know.
Success and growth is assured. And not only that, success and good health, which really makes me wonder if this isn't about you working on your body, you know, one way or another. Whether it's diet, whether it's exercise, whether it's rest, whether it's whatever your body needs right now, you know, it's time to really get things. If you've already started, great. Now keep moving it forward, and good things are going to grow for you, are going to happen for you. This looks really positive.
All right.
Good luck with that.
Well, good luck with that.
And we are on poor Victorious Moon. I'm so sorry to hear about your kitty.
We'll
see what we see about that. All right, let's see.
You're welcome.
Ah.
Well, I worked at a place where I wasn't allowed to be in charge of something until 6 months down the road. So everybody has a different idea about how long it takes for somebody to be ready for something. So that may be something you're stuck with, unfortunately.
All right, so we are on Victorious Moon now.
Hey, Victorious. So we're going to do
And
that.
I'm so sorry to hear about the kitty. That's sad.
Yeah.
So it's passed on Tuesday. There's a message from her. I felt so badly and held her as she passed. The dog attacked her.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, that's tough.
That's the worst.
That is tough. All
I
right.
hate that.
Trying to get my deck. There we go. Let's do that one. Oh, wait.
That's
you know
probably
what?
right, Ari.
No.
Yeah. Well, at least you have an idea of what our cards say, so you'll just have to decide for yourself if you want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just was not very positive. I mean, when I saw that Devil card, I thought, you're just not going to like it there. You know, you're going to feel oppressed, or...
Maybe you should work there as long as you can handle it.
I mean, if you want to check it out, but I have a feeling you may not last there very long. And I mean, if you still feel you should give Wendy's a little bit of a shot, do it. But, it never hurts to look for something else. I mean, you're at that phase in life where moving around is going to happen. I think more so today because jobs are just not guaranteed anymore.
No, I get that.
The Lenormand is yours? You got them? Okay. I'll just move this here and give them to me when you're done. I needed the space.
All right. A message from the kitty.
Well, it's the Page of Wands upright. It's the Seven of Swords upright. And it's the Four of Cups reversed. I will want to see those Lenormand, I think. Was it a male cat or a female?
No, it was a she. She mentioned it. She.
Okay.
Birds. So we have birds and the gentleman. That could be any inquirer. That could be yourself even.
Right. Okay, well, the Page of Wands upright indicates to, Page of Wands is known as a messenger card. So there is a message here. I'm just not completely wrapped around what it is. I think that the cat, doesn't blame you. The message may in fact be that, they clearly are transitioned and they're moving forward to new, maybe a new life,
That's the Seven of Pentacles, right?
No, I'm talking about the Page of Wands still.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the actual message.
Was there a pentacle there? Because
I don't know. I'm asking you if the Seven of Dandelions is the Seven of Pentacles.
Oh, that's what you were asking. No, I said it was the Seven of Swords.
Okay, but I asked, so thank you.
I didn't get your question, but I got it now. So I feel here that the Page of Wands is a messenger, and the message might be that, because the page also's out for new opportunities and new things, growthful. I feel that they may be just, fastly transiting. Maybe this was such a sudden, the attack was so sudden, and they left and they're immediately transiting on. So I don't think you have to worry so much about them. I think the Seven, I'm just going to go to that card. I think the Seven of Swords upright is indicating to me that I guess they didn't know it was, they were totally taken by surprise by this death. I feel here that in a way this was kind of like a surprise attack by the dog. So they were just totally...
I think the message with the Seven of Swords is that they regret being taken away from you. They didn't see this happening. They didn't expect it, of course, who would. And they have regrets about being taken away from you. The other card, the Four of Cups.
Yes, reversed.
Reversed maybe indicates the idea that for you, they are telling you that they know they'll be back, maybe to you, but maybe they'll be back in some other form. My personal belief about animal spirits is that they're not exactly the same as human spirits, but they are spirits, and that they may belong to a group soul of animals or things. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm getting a weird thing about the Lenormand. How do you feel about that combination?
That's a hard one for me. I'm not really sure what I think about it.
Well, I was almost wondering if the dog was a male dog. If this is about the dog, that maybe the cat... I don't want to say the cat is haunting the dog, but I will say that the cat may want to communicate with the dog, actually. And I don't know whether the cat is going to be forgiving or not. It's hard to say. But I do feel like there may be some communication that the dog is going to receive. Maybe the dog will sense, if this is your dog, I believe you didn't act like it was somebody else's dog. If this is your dog, this is something that may come back to visit the dog.
She's talked about the dogs a little bit.
Oh, okay. Oh, was it further up? My thing didn't scroll. Okay, I missed a few things here. So let me see what's going on. Normally the dogs liked her, but no. Apollo. So was a dog. A male dog. I do feel that the cat actually may, communicate with the dog in some way. I do. But they were taken pretty surprised by this, and I don't think they hold any grudges against you. It's very unclear here. There's a message for you. It's almost like I feel like the message is for the dog. I feel here with that Four of Cups, I don't know if I went into the Four of Cups much here. I feel as though maybe this is saying that the cat is now looking possibly for an opportunity to communicate with you. But I'm not feeling a real clear-cut other message right now. This just happened, and I almost feel as if maybe, it's still too fresh.
I would agree with that. I think that even for an animal spirit, that there's probably some amount of confusion. And like I said, my own belief is that it probably goes into some big amoeba of animal souls. I think it retains some amount of its thought process, and maybe that's, as a past, it was sending those ideas towards you and or towards the dog. I don't know that the message was really for the dog. I actually think the message was more for you, that they were regret that they were taken away from you, that they didn't want that, but that they feel that they will come back. With the Lenormand, I'm not exactly sure. There is communication. Maybe this just backs up the idea of there being a message.
Yeah, and you know what? I do feel like they want to communicate, or they wanted to communicate with you, but I'm just not sure they're ready yet. They're looking for an opportunity to communicate more clearly. And frankly, I just think, sometimes the Seven of Swords is an interesting card in this kind of reading for me to kind of process. And I understand there's truths and sometimes messages that come out, but when it's upright, it's sort of secretive and quiet, which made me believe that it was more about the attack itself, how it was such a surprise and sudden, and they weren't ready for it. I think you were right about that. They just didn't expect it. And so it was sudden, and they may still be processing that. I just feel like maybe, if you come to Sunday's show, or if you come next Thursday, we should ask this question again to see if there is another message. No. Because I think we could get something clearer as a little bit more time goes by.
I don't necessarily think it was too soon to ask, as you say there, Victorious, but I do feel like, it's the kind of thing that nobody really knows for sure. We don't know what happens when people die. We really don't know.
No.
And so what I said was maybe what I think is true, just as Banshee feels that too.
Well, and the reason that I felt that way is because it's still not very clear to me what the message is, and because of that Seven of Swords. Because I feel here they were just taken so by surprise that they want to communicate, but they're waiting. They're looking for an opportunity. They're still processing. And so I think in time they will communicate more clearly. I do. And I think that's evidenced by that Four of Cups reversed. So let's try this again soon. And no, don't feel bad about asking it too soon. I just think maybe based on the circumstances of how the cat died, that maybe it's too soon. So good luck with that.
Good luck, Victorious.
People and animals die differently. I mean, in some ways, if it was something like a disease that they died from and they were in the process of dying for a while, the processing of that might be different than what happens in a sudden death like this one. So, and don't blame yourself for this. I didn't see anything there where the cat is angry at you.
No, I didn't either.
So good luck with that, and so sorry for what you're going through.
I'm sorry about that.
That's very difficult.
All right, so we are on Sayama now.
Sonny, you gotta stay off my computer. Right, and you know what? Feel free, Victorious Moon, to keep talking to her. You know, talk about how you miss her, how you're sorry she had to leave so soon and in the way she did, and how, you know, she'll always remain in your heart. Just, you know, do that. It's good for you as well as it is good for, you know, the departed soul. So good luck with that.
All right, Siama, if you're here, we did not see your question. So go ahead and give it to us if you're here. We'll give you a minute. I'm going to mention, because I should have earlier, that my show, The Emotional Exchange, is on tomorrow at 7 a.m. It's a reading for each sign of the zodiac. I pull 2 cards. The top card is the vibe or energy that's coming to you. And the bottom card is, will you be lucky in love, romance, or things of that sort. So that's 7 a.m. Friday morning. Check it out. Also, we are happy to announce, we are back for happy hour at its normal time of 10 a.m. this Saturday morning. So come on down and get a happy, positive card.
You're welcome, Victorious Moon.
Excuse me.
So no question from Siama yet?
No, I have a feeling she dropped in, said hi, and is gone.
All right. Well, last call for Siama.
We'll give her one last moment, and then we're going to move on to Ladybug and Jennifer. Also, don't forget to watch Banshee's Material Matters Sunday morning at 10 a.m. It's a pre-recorded show. We are live in the chat room. Banshee reads for each sign of the zodiac 3 cards telling you all the stuff that's going on financially and materially for you in the week ahead.
All right.
I think we're going to move on to Ladybug.
It's such a short list that I am going to move on to Ladybug, but I put Siama at the end just in case.
Just in case, okay. So Ladybug asks, what are Kenneth's intentions for me?
Well, I suppose that's true, Ari, but you know, you asked would it work out for you, and those are the cards we got. So if you want to go there and get oppressed for a while, why not? It's up to you. And, you know, the cards aren't always right. Things change in time, so...
I don't think the cards could easily determine why employers do these things or what their motivations are. We just have to understand it's the nature of the market. I mean, they just want somebody who's going to give them their 3, 4, 5 hours of sweat.
Well,
and
so
then
what I'm saying
you
is, you say, why does it matter so much where you work? Well, it matters if the work is oppressive to you, if it's stressing you out. Of course, you can walk away then, but, you know... At some point here, as you develop your job, you know, well, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. I guess what I would just say to you is it's up to what you can tolerate. Let's put it that way. So I would never say to not check it out, but, you know, if you have any funny feelings about it once you see the place and how people are working together, you know, then maybe you can think about the card reading and think, oh, maybe that card reading was right and I shouldn't work here. Or, oh, maybe that card reading was wrong and I'll give it a shot. So I would say, you know, never say never. Check it out.
Manifest the job, work out. All right. So Ladybug asked, what are Kenneth's intentions? And our first card is the reversed 3 of Pentacles. Next card is Judgment reversed. By the way, that 3 of Pentacles was reversed, if I didn't say that. Boy, they're all reversed. I'm so sorry. And the Stars is also reversed.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Well, when I saw the first card, I wasn't even sure if Kenneth had intentions, because the 3 of Pentacles just sort of looks like somebody that doesn't have a plan, or somebody that doesn't understand that they're in some sort of, you know, field of cooperation, which could be the getting to know somebody for whatever purposes.
Well, bam, that's a pretty good interpretation of that. Like there's no plan, or maybe intentions don't align with what you were hoping for. I mean, I guess that could be it too, if they have any intentions. But I really like the idea about no plan, because what's the next card?
It's Judgment reversed.
Yeah, Judgment reversed. It's almost as if they're not ready to make any kind of moves or changes at this time.
It may be that they don't have a sincere interest in whatever it is. There may be an interest, but it isn't backed by real goals in their lives. It's maybe sort of loose and fast. Like maybe, I don't know Kenneth, but maybe Kenneth is just sort of taking life as it comes to him, and not necessarily have a plan for themselves, let alone for what might happen with other situations.
And finally,
the Star reversed.
So there,
this is a bad week for Kenneth, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it might be an unclear week for Kenneth. Kenneth just isn't really sure where his destiny should lie right now, and what his intentions are towards you, what the destiny between the two of you are.
It could represent the idea that maybe Kenneth doesn't feel there's any hope in getting to know you better.
Well, or, even if they do, they may just be wondering, is this where I want to, euphemism here, hang my hat? Is this where I want to, be right now? Is this the person I want to have in my life? It's interesting what I've got here, too.
Right, because it's the Rider, which is about a direction being taken. Whoa!
Whoa, flew out of my hand. But it's the key.
Gotta have the key to get riding.
So the key is, how is he going to make...
Russ.
Hey, Russ. The key is he going to make a move of some sort? Maybe the key is that some movement will be made, or you will finally get some kind of signals. I do think that some news or action is going to occur that is kind of going to give you the answer one way or the other.
Well, those Lenormand kind of throw things. I like what Ladybug said there too. Those Lenormands kind of throw things into a different idea that maybe ultimately Kenneth is meandering until he gets a clue or a key in this instance here, and that like something needs to, and we're going to use vehicle terminology, jumpstart, where they're going here. Like maybe you're right. Maybe they were saying, they don't really have a sense of intentions, and maybe they're just taking it as it goes, whether it's a good time or leading to something more permanent or more of a relationship. But I think he needs something to turn the key.
Oh.
That basically that's why the key
turn
and the Riders,
the ignition?
That maybe they don't know they want to have intentions. Like maybe they're just sort of really disconnected and or right now. Like maybe you need to wait a week or two and see if anything changes, and if we should ask the question again.
Or see if any move happens. Pay attention, because that rider is there for some reason. Somebody's going to make a move or take an action or get a message out, because that's the key. So I think that's going to happen. And if not, let's check again in 2 weeks and see what's going on. I would agree with Mr. O on that. I have to agree with him also when he talked about disconnected with the star reverse there. I just do feel there maybe is some disconnect going on, some cloudiness of thought, some unsureness as to where his path is taking him right now.
It could just be something else is really on his mind, like his work or something else.
So good luck with that. And we're on Jennifer.
All right, and Jennifer left her question.
Russ, I put you before Siama because we're not sure Siama is here. She missed her turn. But I put her at the end of the list because it's a slower night. We did have a birthday reading, though, so that took a little bit of time.
Okay, Jennifer wants to know if their connection with Taurus will be long-term. That's going to be your deck, right?
Long-term. Okay, connection with Taurus. Yes, my deck. Did I use this one yet? I don't think I did. Anyway, I like this one.
Okay, and you're a Gemini. Okay. Well, seeing is believing, Ladybug Love, because what he says to you seems not exactly what we were seeing there, but on the other hand, you know, maybe it is an indication that he hasn't really come up to a seriousness point yet.
Oh, wow. That's right. They're playing tonight. I was seeing all the hypola. I don't pay as much attention to basketball, Russ, but of course, as the Pistons kind of came into their own this season, I've been slightly following them. Not as much into basketball as the other sports. And it's funny because, well, at least in grade school, I used to be on the basketball team. I was their secret weapon. They would only throw me in when they had a good lead. Basketball was not one of the things that I was good at, I have to say. And part of it is because I could never jump. I was not a really great jumper. All right. And I'm short. Of course, back then I wasn't. I was actually kind of tall in my class for a while.
I never knew you to be tall. Oh, in your class, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, what was the question again?
Will their connection with the Taurus be long-term?
Well, starting with the Six of Wands upright. We also have the Page of Swords upright. Hey, maybe. And the Seven of Cups is reversed. Oh, I see some potential here. Maybe. But he's got the coffin. Oh, well.
That might turn it around. Let's take a look.
Maybe.
So the clouds with the white side are facing the coffin. We'll get to that.
We will get to that. I see some potential here, I will say.
I do.
You know, with the first card, which is issue, Six of Wands, of course, the victory card. I feel here that both of you feel kind of a win-win here. You know, I think you would be supportive of, and there's positive energy here, that you would be very supportive of each other, that each will have, you know, that each person will have the autonomy to go after what it is they want out of life besides, you know, the relationship, and support each other's aims and goals. There seems to be a real nice mutuality here that could lead to a successful union.
I like that, Banshee. I think that's a good point. You know, a lot of times the Six of Wands maybe implies, you know, that somebody's victorious, but considering the question and the context, it feels like this is a win-win for both of you, just like Banshee said. So I like the idea that maybe while this is not saying, oh, yes, absolutely, this is saying where it is moving towards. It's moving towards some sort of summation of what brought you together. You know, we're not going to use the war analogy. We're just going to use the victory analogy.
Well, and
so then we have Page of Swords.
The page, I know, that one I know. And, you know, I was going to say communication is really key here. Being open and honest and authentic with one another. I think that's the importance that the page brings to this. And, I think here there's potential for that as long as you both remain open and keep the lines of communication going. And also, there's another aspect to the Page of Swords I wanted to bring into this, and I think it's the idea, again, of what I said here, that there seems to be a mutual cooperative thing here. You guys will know how to kind of click and make things work out for each other.
I like what you wrote there, Jennifer. You drove 3 hours to see him.
I saw that.
Okay, so you must live in California, maybe, I don't know. But wherever you live, 3 hours, that's considerable. The Page of Swords maybe speaks to the idea that there's a lot of grace and diplomatic feeling around of each other's feelings and sensibilities. If you're willing to drive 3 hours to see them, they may be willing to reciprocate that way. This is really a strong sense of people wanting to work with people's parameters, and so I like it. I think it's a good sign as well.
So was it 3 hours one way and 3 hours back, or just 3 hours total? My point is, we drove 3 hours one way and back, and I mean, that's not a huge deal. That is a big deal.
You weren't driving.
What?
You weren't driving.
I know, but I was stuck in the car with you. You brought that on. But at any rate, it is definitely, your time spent. I think things could possibly go somewhere. And the Seven of Cups is reversed here. Here's the other part of it. Somebody's going to make a choice or decision here. And it could be, both of you making the choice of, yes, I'd like to see this go further, And so I do think, either they or you or both of you are going to make your minds up that this is the right decision, that we should give this a try, give this a go.
To me, that Seven of Cups reverse there, that's talking about sort of aligning yourself with your desires that you feel are the true ones, as well as the options or wishes that you think about. So this is saying you see this aligning, or maybe the Taurus does, or maybe you both do, but you see a sense of an aligning of personal desires with what is possible. So I like that.
So
the Lenormand.
It's kind of an odd thing. I think here that any kind of confusion about where things are headed, one way or another, will soon come to an end. Because maybe that Seven of Cups, reversed, that somebody is going to make their mind up, or, you both are, that, one way or another, whether, well, I don't think we are going to work out, or we are going to work out. And I'm leaning towards the potential here that this is worth, pursuing, or at least exploring further. By the look of the cards. The
clouds are confusion. The light side means you're getting through the confusion. The dark side means not so much. And the light side is facing towards the coffin, which means something's ending. So that's why we believe it's saying confusion about the matter, the idea that, you're 90 minutes away from each other, that kind of thing, will clarify. And we saw that here with the Seven of Cups. So I really feel like there is the possibility that Taurus will work out as a long-term kind of thing for you.
Well, it's definitely worth pursuing at this point. That's what it looks like to me. So,
Good luck, Jennifer.
Good luck with that. I hope it does work out for you.
Yay!
Happy love reading. All right.
All right. Have a good evening. You're welcome.
I need those.
All right. So we're on Russ. And I guess your question's going to be about basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know.
And I have no idea what's going on right now, if they have started, so they must have started by 8.
I'm inspired to sing a song. Basketball Jones.
Basketball Jones.
Basketball Jones. Basketball Jones got a Jones over you. That was bad.
Wait a minute. Are you changing your question? Oh, the NFL draft. Oh, you're talking about the draft. Oh.
No, he's talking about the Federation of Planets.
Well, who is the Pistons playing tonight? I know, but I'm looking at both.
What... Erudon? That sounds like a Galactic Council member to me.
All right. So what is the question exactly?
This one requires the Midnight Boulevard, I think. Is he really the driving force working with the White Hats and behind the liberation of Earth and Earth's opportunity to join the benevolent Federation of Planets? I'd rather join the non-benevolent Federation of Planets.
Good grief.
Myself.
Well, Mr. O has always been...
Contrary.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Scorpio too. Come on, Russ, let's go. All right, so if we need to, and this is kind of a odd question, we'll clarify with a yes or no.
We'll try to clarify.
All right. First card. I love it. Seven of Pentacles.
Okay.
The time is not right. Okay, next card is the Six of Wands. Yeah. Wow.
Upright.
Six of Wands. I love these cards. I'm really glad I got them. They definitely make me talk. And then another upright card, the Eight of Pentacles. Very cool. Very cool. So
we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Eight, and what's in the middle again? The Wands.
Six of Wands.
Six of Wands upright.
Uh-oh. These weren't in the bag.
Oh. Well, I've got to do them again. I have to do them again. All right.
All right. So maybe there's a holding pattern right now with this vote or this thing that's going on. Or you're saying, is he the driving force? But maybe this is saying, as the driving force, he's sort of sitting there in abeyance of some sort. He's sort of monitoring the situation. He's not really quite ready to play his hand. But he will be, and I think that Knight of Wands is saying he expects victory, or he is moving with the forces of victory. Real strong forces there. That's the... I'm sorry, it wasn't the Knight, it was the Six of Wands, which is, of course, the victory card.
Right. I don't know if he's the driving force or not. When I see the Seven of Pentacles, I'm thinking that this is somebody who's pulled back a little bit. Maybe it's letting somebody else take the lead. And that's the Six of Wands here. Somebody else may be leading the charge, and he may be supporting them. That's what I think from the background. Because what? I wasn't there.
Okay,
what?
Well,
what was that
sorry
one?
that I think faster than you. It's the Eight of Pentacles, and it just sort of means he's there to support that plan, like you just said.
No, this is the support, because Six of Wands is about support. The Eight of Pentacles is just saying to me, I mean, you can go your way, but the Eight of Pentacles to me is saying this is a work in progress, obviously, still.
Well, the Six of Wands is about victory.
The work is underway. And the Six of Wands is victory. They're striving for success and victory. But I believe that this card is saying that, considering this, he is supporting whoever this is who is leading the charge. And it's still a work in progress. And let's take a look at this. Wait a minute. Did you say enough? Did you go through all those?
I think so. No more putting it off. There's the garden. And the clouds are back again, facing the garden.
So I kind of feel here that the garden, you talk about the Earth's something about the liberation of Earth and Earth's opportunity to join the benevolent federation of planets. I feel here that some clarity is going to be achieved here as far as that goes, whether they will truly join, or will they be able to get them to join. The garden is maybe more about a broader collaboration or collective of peoples, and so that's why I'm saying that it could represent the Federation of Planets. And I think here some clarity is going to come in that regard at some point here. But this is still a work in progress, and whoever this is, the person you mentioned, Commander Thor Erden, it will, he's not necessarily the driving force, but he is definitely a part of this.
Right. That's what the Eight of Pentacles is. We're still working at that. Interesting. So I don't know if that... I think that says yes, but it's still going to take time for it to happen.
Yeah.
It's evolution.
So maybe the other thing I could think of here is that maybe this person who's pulling back is trying to find individuals that, on Earth who will support this initiative, and help carry this through. I could see that also. Those
who are already reaching their enlightenment.
Yeah.
Their 5G.
But it's still, like I said, it ain't there yet. it ain't there yet. So
we'll leave the light on for the Federation, Russ.
So, interesting question as always, Russ. I hope we gave you some answer here.
And that's our show. Mere 1 or 2 minutes.
Siama, are you here?
Siama's not here. They would have said hi again.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there again, because that's what I do. I want to remind everybody that we have upcoming shows. Mr. O's Emotional Exchanges is coming out tomorrow. We'll be live again for Happy Hour for that single card positive message from Spirit. Well, that's up to you.
Why is it up to me?
Because you're ready to close the show a minute ago.
No, I wasn't.
We will absolutely take you, Alicia, because Siama, who we are waiting
our
for,
last reading
is not
bailed,
here.
So
yeah. So you just made it, and feel free to ask a question.
Yeah, you just made it, so go ahead and ask the question.
No, you are here. Don't worry about it. Do not worry.
We didn't even put up our sign saying the list is closed yet.
There, I've made it official.
Yes.
Now tune into the NFL draft. I'm not going to be able to do that today for you, Russ. Sorry. But is it already underway, or is it happening this weekend? I think it's happening this weekend, right? I will have to sort of look into that. I hear we might let somebody go. There's talk of trading Jameson Williams, and I'm kind of surprised by that. Sort of. I really thought he was going to be a keeper here for a while.
All right, Alyssa asks, what's coming in the next week with love? That's going to be your deck.
Alrighty.
I see I have my reminder to take my medicine, which I will do right after the show.
That must mean it's time to take mine, and guess what? It's the first of the new pills. I have problems swallowing pills, and sometimes the pharmacy will take a generic brand that's either cheaper or more available of the same pill, generic of it, and give it to me. And this one's a bit larger than what I normally can swallow, so I'm a little nervous about this because I don't do well swallowing pills.
Thank you, Alicia. And thank you for your comments.
He is sounding better. He is doing a little bit better. Tests are going to be underway still.
I'm getting an MRA on Monday morning, and I'm going to my first therapy for my vertigo on Tuesday afternoon.
Vestibular therapy.
I don't know if you can do that. Can you cut it in half to swallow it?
I'm not sure I can this one. I might be able to. It's a tablet, and as long as I swallow the halves, but I'm going to try to do a whole one. I may have to have a talk with my pharmacist about this, though, because... But anyway, I'm going to give it a try. The good news is, even though it's larger, it's really kind of flat. And so I'm hoping that maybe I will not gag on it like I normally do. Anyway, we'll see.
All right.
Whoops.
So what's coming in the next week with love? It almost sounds like you expect something to come because you've defined it to next week.
Well, it's the Empress reversed. We'll talk about that.
Okay, the Empress reversed.
Oh, the Ten of Wands is upright. Oh. And the Moon is upright.
Oh, that's a pretty moon. I like
Isn't
that.
it?
Pegasus.
Yes, it is. Well, but what is this saying here? So, what do you got? Oh, what's that?
So the heart shows up in Lenormand to deny everything else that may have happened. And also the bear, which is also pretty good, especially with the heart, I think.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Well, the Empress reversed is saying there may not be a lot of productive activity in that next week. I mean, you might be anticipating something, but there may be reasons why, that may be delayed or not necessarily coming through. And it might be that Ten of Wands. It seems like there's obligations or burdens or something getting in the way of progress, in the romance department. Whether it's work concerns, whether it's other things that just kind of interfere, that could be. However, I like the Moon here for some reason. I feel here that you could connect up with somebody or at least communicate with somebody that you connect with on a bit of a deeper level. It's more of like you're both very empathic with each other. You can kind of, you almost feel like you click and connect on that soul level.
This is just a stray thought I had just now. I don't think it's what I really see in the reading, but I almost thought, like, is somebody that you are possibly thinking of as busy as you or busier than you? Like, is this your, corollary out there in the romance zone? Somebody who's incredibly busy too. And so the real miracle is whether you two actually come together. But beside that, I like what Banshee said. I think that this Empress reverse says you do sort of wish you could take more time for your personal bonus, for things in your personal life outside of the busy life you have.
Yeah, I like
and of course
that
obviously would include romance or getting to know somebody better.
So it could be just work and business getting in the way. If you don't have anybody specific in mind and you're just looking for love right now, I think here that could be what's going on. But I think here there's a possibility that you could meet somebody that's very intriguing to you. And it's almost as if, you can read each other's minds or thoughts. Or if you know such a person, maybe something is going to deepen there.
Well, I like what you're saying there, but I'm feeling a little differently. When I look at the Moon, I see a lot of different things, but sometimes I feel the idea that you either are finding out somebody's interest in you, or you need to find that out, that maybe it's not quite revealed yet, but the Moon changes over time, so it may just be a matter of time, before this cycles through to you. Whether or not this is this person that I sort of glimpsed, a very super busy person like yourself, or just the idea that maybe what you realize is that somebody could help you with your obligations, a workmate, a helpmate, a soulmate, and that maybe what you are perceiving is the person who you feel is in a way the answer to your dreams. You want to be in love, you want to have romance, you want to have something that works and builds. So I'm wondering if those perceptions are tied together, but I'm not seeing the real thing just yet here. I'm seeing it more in the Lenormand.
Well, the Lenormand is interesting because I feel here that, you feel like ready or empowered now to go after, passion and love in your life. I feel here that, that also maybe if you meet or have met such an individual that you have kind of a more soul connection with, this could be a very empowering relationship for you. So it could be something stirring, I'll just say, in the week ahead. But it depends on if you allow other things to get in the way. Okay?
What do you mean?
The Ten of Wands, other things to get in the way of looking for love or getting involved with somebody.
And I thought you were kind of coming from the back door saying, like, sometimes everything's so busy, but take the time to notice something that's actually trying to get your attention.
Well, that's what you say, and I could agree with that.
Yeah, maybe. I thought you were saying it too, though, in a way.
But I agree with that.
But I think overall this may take more than a week, but I think something
He might be right.
is possibly shifting there. And it could be the coinciding of you trying to figure out if you can free up some time, but also because maybe you realize there's a connection that's drawing closer to you. And this could be that other person too, that they feel something's drawing closer to them, and it's just a matter of them clearing their table.
And you said you've been seeing 444 lately, so what I might want to add to this is that maybe your gut is telling you something right now, that your gut is telling you this is time for me to focus on, my love life. And I do see that here. I do sense that this is time for you to do that. There's powerful momentum towards, maybe love and a relationship entering your life.
It starts with that Empress reverse because she is about taking care of herself. And the proximity of the other cards, especially the Lenormand love card and the bear, this is Mama Bear taking charge. This is like the spirit of female bear saying, I want and I will get. I think you will be ruminating over what you want in your romantic life or in your soul life, and it's a matter of self-care for you to find that and to bring that to you.
Hey, Russ, we don't have time tonight, but listen, is the Lions and the Buffalo, is their thing going to be on Saturday then, or is it going to be on Friday, their picks? Either way, what I think I'm going to do is if you just drop a little note or a heart or whatever on this program once we're done, I'll reply to you tomorrow and I will do a reading. I'm just going to do a couple cards, a few cards for Buffalo and cards for the Lions, just to see how successful their draft picks are going to be or what I can determine there. And I'll let you know in a brief reading, okay? So I'll do that for you because I like doing sports stuff. So it won't be a problem. Anyway, we gotta go.
All right, so I guess that's what we have for you. It feels like, it might not be exactly within this week, but something seems to be stirring. Just as the moon's tides are going around, something is pulling in towards you. It may not be apparent just yet.
Well, dang, Russ.
We sure hope so.
I'm just gonna pull one card for each for tonight then. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, I see.
Because it's tonight. Just let me do it real quick. Let me grab something that's easy to read. This one is, I think. Let's just see what it looks like.
Jackie has no interest in American basketball.
One card for each. This isn't about basketball. It's about the Lions.
Well, he says Jackie should set her alarm so she can get up and watch the show.
Oh.
Come on, you got to keep up.
Okay, that's not about basketball, though, but whatever. Okay. All right. the lions first, of course, because that's what I am. And it's the Wheel of Fortune reversed, Russ. So I think the lions may not get exactly what they what they wanted in their draft, or something just will turn out badly for them with their pick. It's kind of interesting, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Timing is not on their side, apparently. But the Bills aren't doing too much better either. They've got the Emperor reversed, which to me indicates that maybe they might just make a bad pick. They might make a choice that really you'll wonder, well, why did they go with that one? It just seems like somebody there may have dropped the ball on a better choice. I don't know why I'm feeling that way, but, the Emperor is probably the people who are choosing, the coaches, etc., the GM, the front office. And I think here somebody is not making the most wisest choice in this case. As a matter of fact, it might be a more self-serving choice. I know that sounds strange. Like there might be other ulterior motives for why they made this choice. Maybe it's money, I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, it doesn't look good for either of them tonight. I'm kind of surprised by that. Interesting. Well, that's what I got for tonight.
All right.
Good luck with that.
And that's our show.
That's our show. So, I want to thank everybody for all these interesting questions. We have fun when we do this.
I like the spirit questions that we get.
The spirit, but we understand some of those can be painful. And so, we can't always guarantee the spirit is going to have a nice message or that they're necessarily ready to come through. And also the questions about attachments and stuff like that. It's really fascinating. This Federation of Planets and all of that, fascinating.
Totally.
So thanks, everybody. We appreciate your support.
Happy birthday, Garima. Hope you liked your reading.
Happy birthday to Garima, and I hope the reading went well. And hope to see you all real soon. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, Kara.
Take care, Kara.